What's going on, fellow Maplers? Wow, I did not think I'd be saying that again. It's been nearly a year since my last video, and I am officially a noob. 271 just doesn't cut it anymore with all the updates that have come out. And if I'm already a noob, I might as well start fresh on a brand spanking new account. The point of this series will be to go through the new player experience in the modern MapleStory era, and in essence, create a comprehensive guide for new and returning players on how to build a fresh account. Along the way, I'll provide critiques on the experience to see if the game has improved since I believe it was at an all-time low around a year ago. Many people have told me it's gotten better. I want to see for myself. With that being said, let's get started. The very first thing any fresh account needs is to pick a main character. You can find a bajillion videos on this topic that mean absolutely jack all. Any character is viable, and you can always switch your focus to another character at any point. The great thing about this game is there is effectively no wasted time from developing multiple characters. Without going into too much depth, there are a variety of systems that benefit your entire account by progressing across the 50 odd classes to choose from. However, what I would suggest you do is pick a faction to focus on, then choose characters within that faction, especially if you want to be free to play. The reason for that is Nexon took steps to further embrace free to play by making all the essential paid items purchasable through currency earned in game. The reason factions are important is that characters within the same faction share a cash shop inventory with access to these items. If you make characters across factions, they will not be able to easily transfer items outside of special events that take place very infrequently. Props to Nexon, this is a huge win for the community, but I would love to see an account-wide cash shop inventory at some point. Anyway, back to choosing my faction. At the time of this video, a new major patch dropped which revamps two hero faction characters, Aran and Shade. This includes an event that allows you to rapidly progress two characters, one of which must be a revamped character. To make it easier on myself for the free-to-play route and to try out the newly supported characters, I will main Aran and focus on the hero faction for my overall account progression. Oh, and I almost forgot, make sure to play on the Chronos server because Hyperion is much less populated and the other servers are essentially glorified slot machines. Also, make sure to set the character you chose as hyperburning to participate in the event. Now, we finally get to start the game. The first thing you need to do is dependent on your class. Complete the tutorial for your character, which usually ends at level 10, but sometimes goes much longer. After completing that, you will enter the Maple world. And with that, the first main boss battle begins, mapping your keys. MapleStory has an overwhelming user interface and a ton of skills that are going to get thrown at you over the next hour of gameplay. Here's what I found works for me, but map it how you see fit. I use the approximate key as a combo key and add my key interfaces to numbers 1 through 5. This includes character info, equipment, skills, inventory, and quests. The combo key makes it so you have more room for skills within easy reach of your left hand. I make shift my jump key and A my basic attack key. I use number keys for buffs and S, D, and F as primary attack keys and Q, W, E, R, and T as attack skills with cooldowns. I map Legion to J, Maple Guide to K, and Monster Collection to I. Everything else I think is on an intuitive key already, or is used infrequently enough that it doesn't really matter. Now we're pretty much set up to actually play. The first thing you should always do as a new account is come over to the star-shaped event UI. This looks so much nicer than it did before. It will describe all the ongoing events, the requirements, duration, and rewards. This will change based on when you watch this video, but the good news is they're constantly supporting character development, so if this event passes, just navigate to the current event available to you. For us, the first event we will be interested in is Tera Blink. This will effectively speed run what is normally a multi-hour grind to level 200 and the 5th job advancement. I will teach you the basics of the game while fast tracking your progress. Feel free to read the content for yourself or follow along for a quick guide. The first thing this event will teach us about is consumables, the main one being potions which restore HP and MP. Map it to a key from the Use tab in your inventory. I choose the Alt key, use it to restore your HP and MP, and complete the quest. Next, they will teach you about the reason I praised Nexon earlier for free to play. You will receive a pet, which was the main subscription model to MapleStory. It comes with auto potion and auto buff, meaning you can place up to 2 buffs and 2 potions that will automatically get used at thresholds you set on hit. A massive quality of life improvement. To complete the next couple of quests, set up auto potion by equipping your new pet in the items UI cache tab. dragging the potions over to the slots in your pet tab in the equipment UI, then doing the same for the Tera Blink skill found in the skills UI. Now that you've leveled up some, I would suggest you invest skill points into your first job skills. I would highly recommend you read all your skills as you advance to know what they do. Keybind them to use easily going forward. For Aran, many of them can be done with combos like a fighting game, which is pretty cool. Doesn't matter how you distribute points, I would put one into each, you'll be maxing them out very rapidly. Jobs 1 through 4 are pretty much just a tutorial in this game. Additionally, as you level up, throw some points into your main stat, just use the auto button. Distribution of skill points outside of your main stat hasn't been relevant for quite some time. Finally, he's going to teach you about the core gameplay mechanic of any Korean MMO, grinding. So, clap the cheeks of some mobs until you're level 30, Spiegelman will be like, whoa, hands above the table, and tell you it's time to pursue career advancement opportunities. Talk to him and tell him you want to skedaddle, then you'll be introduced to another key UI, the quest notifier, indicated by the light bulb. Critical quests will show up with red text, well, I guess mostly critical. Just do the ones I point out, which will be the job advancement quests. This will diverge based on your character, but usually they are very brief and once completed will open up the next set of skills. Also, I forgot to mention this, but feed your pet. He's probably pretty hungry by this point. I didn't realize that they didn't give him auto feed. And before we go back to Spiegelman, with Hyperburning comes insane rewards that bypass most early game gear progression. So check your event notifier and make sure to claim any pending rewards. This will give you expiring versions of level 100 and 150 gear, as well as permanent event ring, which is great. The Root Abyss and event ring are very strong items that will last you until you replace them with your own copies and then well into the mid to end game. Once back at Spiegelman, we essentially rinse and repeat everything we did the first time, but with introductions to a couple more systems, taking breaks for the third and fourth job advancement. Make sure to upgrade your new skills, main stat, and equip new gear to keep one-shotting the mobs he throws at you. As for the systems, the first one he will introduce you to is field events. While grinding outside of his domain, random portals and elite monsters will spawn. They essentially break up monotonous grinds by offering comparable XP rates and additional rewards for a variety of different minigames. They are definitely worthwhile to do until much later in the game. The next system he'll introduce you to is Star Forcing and the Transfer Hammer. Star Forcing is one of the main ways you progress your character in this game. Simply play a game of chance to upgrade the stats of your item. Spiegelman will have you do this to level 8 on his necklace, transfer it to a new necklace, then equip that necklace. Star Forcing kind of warrants its own video, so I'll leave it at that for now. The third system you'll be introduced to starts at level 140, called Hyperstats. You can find this in the Character Info tab. Hyperstats are additional stat lines you can upgrade alongside your main stat from here on out. They will get progressively more expensive as you upgrade each one, so you'll experience diminishing returns and will want to distribute your points relatively evenly. You can also have multiple setups for these. Generally speaking, you will want 2 versions for grinding and bossing. For now, we will just focus on grinding. Important stats for grinding are critical damage and rate, damage and normal monster damage, as well as EXP gain. So invest your points into these for now. Once you hit level 200, that's the extent of what you can get out of the Tera Blink event, and you can now start your 5th job advancement. You may have a quick character specific quest, then you will finally begin what every class must complete to unlock the 5th job, the Call of the Urda's questline. To complete this quest, you need to go through the Memory Keeper's dialogue, then visit 3 locations. The first one is in Hennessy's. A quick way to get there is through the Maple Guide, which gives you many easily accessible teleports to key locations for free, among various other features. Select the second town icon for Hennessy's, then go to the right side of the map and enter the Bowman Instructional School, then the 5th job portal. The rest is pretty straightforward. For the next location, rather than use the Maple Guide teleport, I'll introduce you to another mechanic, daily rewards. Go to the Maple Guide, scroll down to your level range and choose a monster to teleport to. I'll travel to the Forsaken Excavation Site 2 in order to kill 300 mobs. This will give me my first daily gift of a Hyper Teleport Rock. This item is super important and allows you to teleport to almost every location in the game through the world map. Within the world map, you can search your next location Pantheon, or you can go through the quest UI and double click the highlighted text to find it for you. And of course I goofed on the order here, but make sure to use your Hyper Teleport Rock to move it over to the cache tab, start its timer, and allow you to use its functionality. Once in Pantheon, just enter the main building and then the 5th job portal. For this one, you will need to clear a very easy version of the boss Magnus. Just stand within his blue aura and make short work of him. Finally, we will reach the last portal through a quest teleport. Start the quest Dark World Tree, Those Who Remained, and go through some cutscenes. You will find the portal on the right side of the map that you land in, requiring you to progress through a few maps of enemies. Now we're finally cooking. Turn in the quest via the quest indicator, and congratulations, you are finally at the 5th job, and yet another system, the V-Matrix. To access this UI, go to the 5th job skills tab and click V-Matrix. But before we delve into the system too much, you can get 200 free node stones and some new gear after completing the follow-up quest, A Great Power. Simply accept it from the quest UI to travel to your first Arcane River location, Vanishing Journey. From there, find a happy Urder on the world map, kill one, and turn in the quest. This will unlock your first arcane symbol, which I'll explain next episode. Now you can claim the 100 node stones from the Hyperburning event, a bunch of rewards including another 100 node stones from the level 200 gift found in the Blossoming Moonshade event if you are playing in Aran or Shade, and a 5-piece Absolad set that will grow with you from the Item Burning event. These are actually bananas rewards compared to what they used to be. Back to the V-Matrix. There's an absolute metric fuck ton of information to know about the V-Matrix, but I'll try to keep it to the critical components so you avoid wasting your very useful materials. You'll receive 4 new skills. These are generally your heavy hitters for bossing. Many have overlap usefulness for grinding too. Additionally, you are introduced to a new resource called Node Stones. Upon opening them, you'll unlock new skills. There's a bunch of different skills in addition to the 4 you just unlocked with your 5th job, and nodes with 3 skills listed on them that boost the effectiveness of skills learned in your previous jobs. Those are commonly called tri-nodes. As I said, there's many useful skills, but 2 you should look out for are Holy Symbol, as it's a great source of drop rate and EXP gain, and Urda Shower because it's a summon available to every class that makes grinding easier. You can disassemble nodes you don't want and craft other nodes that you may need. You can use copies of identical skill nodes to enhance your existing ones by leveling them up. I would avoid doing this until you understand what skills and tri-nodes are important for your class. Now, I hate games that do this, but your life will be made much simpler with an outside resource. Apologies, but from here I want you to Google MapleStory class Discord Reddit. Click through, find your character, join the Discord, and from there you will find a server of people with the same class as you and a ton of useful information for optimizing your character. If you have not used Discord before, it is where most of the player interaction for MapleStory takes place and will greatly enhance the social aspect of your gameplay experience. Within this Discord, what you're going to look for is a tab called V-Matrix. This will lay out the ideal skills for your tri-nodes, and it's helpful because it will also let you know what skills are relevant to prioritize in leveling up. For example, after the remaster, Aran is looking for tri-nodes which cover 3 of the 6 skills shown here, followed by leveling up other important skills with this priority. Also, while we're here, go to the Hyper Skills tab. I intentionally skipped this earlier, but at level 140, along with Hyper Stats, you will get Hyper Skills. This will provide you with the ideal setup for your character. Just go into the Skills tab, click on the Hyper Skills, and then fill it out. To go in a bit more depth on tri-nodes, in the V-Matrix, I can filter for combinations of 3 of those skills to find my ideal tri-nodes. It's also important to know that nodes have level caps. You'll see in the image, tri-node boost goes up to level 60. However, the max node level is 25, so you need 2 variants of the same tri-node to fully max out your skills. Also, that only adds up to 50. You can receive an additional 5 levels per node from upgrading the node slot in the V-Matrix, which will add levels to any node within that slot. To do this, you just need to level up your character, and you'll get a point per level past 200. Fortunately, all other skills only need 1 copy. To make it even less simple, the way tri-nodes work is that the first skill listed determines the primary node type. You cannot equip the same node twice, so you need a different tri-node with that skill listed in the 2nd or 3rd position. Fortunately, we just received a couple hundred node stones for free, so hopefully you get at least 1 variant of each type. Now, that was pretty dense, but you should be pretty much up and running to start exploring the game. I'd recommend going into the Arcane River questline from here, and in the next video I'll showcase my progress through that, as well as gearing up the rest of our equipment slots. I think my plan is to create supplemental videos that will simplify and explain some of the critical systems that we've talked about today. That way I can keep the story a little bit more linear. Other than that, I've been having a blast playing a fresh account and appreciate you taking the time to watch. It's good to be back, baby.